pathologist. I couldn't tell you if that's even a possibility at this point anymore. But what I can tell you is that we're heading into game number 1 momentarily. N1HEX versus Zero Tenacity. We get to see where things start off. It comes down to those picks and bans.
Yep, and we're going to Hell's Heaven. We're going to Hydra's hideout here for the first match between these two teams. A must-win scenario for both of them as well as we head into the ban draft. Because right now, Zero Tenacity and N1HEX, are they going to go for the Gambit Mirror? Is it going to be one team going for the Elsa? Is it going to be an Elsa ban mirror? Or is it going to be Mantis? It's going to be N1HEX. Take it away, Mantis. Zero Tenacity, respond with the Gambit ban.
Okay, Gambit, Elsa ban, nothing too wild so far. We've seen a lot of priorities over Mantis thus far for both teams in Pacific. We saw that a lot in the last series. It seems like Gambit Reserve coming out from Zero Tenacity will be a pretty strong start. Probably not going to see as much Mantis from them.
Yep, Mantis is going to be taken away. Not a huge fan of this Mantis ban because Zero Tenacity, they're for sure going to go for the Gambit. And if Loki is slid by, Zero Tenacity, you're going to be sure to jump onto that. But N1HEX, at the very least, will secure the one-sided Elsa Bloodstone. But now, Zero Tenacity, they gotta make sure that this Elsa is contained. They have to get rid of the damage amplification. So you gotta get rid of the Mantis. Maybe you invest the ban onto the Ultron, although it is not really necessary in my opinion. But we'll see if Zero Tenacity decide to go for that route. But instead, they're gonna go for more of a frontline ban this time around.
Okay, expecting maybe a lot of dive melee coming through from ZT's side. Definitely something we've seen in the past come out from Zero Tenacity. I think having this Elsa reserve will be strong for N1HEX. Hell's Heaven, very good for Glartrox and the Apex Predator. Thinking alongside that, though, with the Invisible Woman, we're seeing a lot of priorities here to ensure that there's a lot of space denial being brought out from N1HEX's side, but still keeping on that thread of individuality for each of these players.
And Loki is still untouched. This is a little bit surprising from both sides, I feel like. Zero Tenacity for sure get the Loki save, but they're thinking about the Rogue. So they want to secure the team up between the Gambit Rogue and the Magneto over the Loki. And N1HEX, do they go for that ban onto the God of Mischief himself? Because right now they're thinking about a Shark or the Star-Lord. Both are good bans, but Loki Gambit being let through is a little bit scary, I feel like.
I see the idea. You ban out the Jeff, I suppose, because it's domination and it's Jeff can eat up everybody. I guess. Sure. But yeah, I think that's a very glaring hole in the line of N1HEX to leave some of the most powerful strategists on the line here. Is Zero Tenacity going to take advantage of that?
For sure, right? As soon as Zero Tenacity get the Raging Royal flush down, it's just lights out at this point. So N1HEX, they need to find a way to navigate around this Gambit pick, because, oh boy, N1HEX, I feel like this ban draft wasn't the best performance from them, and Zero Tenacity, if they're able to execute this composition to perfection, would mean that they just run them right over, because what do you know? You got Visor on the Gambit, Eggsy on the Star-Lord. The best wombo combo ultimate combination in the entire game at the current moment, because if you can get your ultimate sync together, Eggsy can just shred every one of N1HEX, even if they're inside a strategist ultimate.
Got it?
Just a matter of seeing if that's going to come to fruition. N1HEX have a lot to make up for their last few play days. JT, the player already opting to leave this team once preseason's over. Hopefully, maybe this could be a chance to make amends work out once again for each of these members. Well, early on, though, we get to see Fish playing things pretty aggressively. Skirting around, early poke, looking to farm up that Galactic Legend early.
Yeah, but it does draw out the Loki greens, but Skirt just gets shot down by Eggsy. Everyone else on N1HEX are trying to find some sort of opportunity in, but with Zero Tenacity just all over the map, taking so much of that space just means that they're just able to run right through N1HEX, pick them apart left, right, and center, because Zero Tenacity, they have all the damage.
Reset's been called from N1HEX's side. Can't stagger out, though. We saw a massive staggering from N1HEX just seconds into this matchup.
And it's a matter of how long does Zero Tenacity stay spread out, give N1HEX zero room to work with. Because right now, Zero Tenacity, again, so much damage to work with, not just from Eggsy as on the Psylocke, it's also Marvel as well with the team up with the Gambit. Just means that Marvel can provide so much sustain with those punches, so much damage as well. And with Wendy taking down Skirt, who goes down a second time, this is bad news for N1HEX. They didn't even get a chance to get even close to the mission area.
I mean, hey, you want to talk about the damage camp, right? You have Dotson and Skirt on Star-Lord and Elsa. This should be prime damage city for N1HEX's side. JT on the Elsa, too. Opportunities out of the wazoo to isolate players and take these early fights. We're just not seeing that from N1HEX here.
We'll see if N1HEX do find an opening. They gotta get a lucky pick at this point, but Zero Tenacity are quite literally playing to perfection. N1HEX just never had a chance to do anything. We haven't even seen an ultimate go off just yet.
No, they're being built up though. Dawson swapped over to the Daredevil. Dance to the butterflies is underway.
There it is.
Double KO for Nixie. That's going to be a strong start coming out from the Psylocke. It's looking like this could be a triple. No, JT gets away.
JT will get away with his life, but with Final Fight territory coming up, it might not even be a chance for N1HEX to contest onto the site. Actually, no, there is a back cap. It will trigger overtime, but is D-Spooky able to stall enough time for the rest of N1HEX to come in? Fish does have the It's Jeff ultimate available, but can N1HEX capitalize?
There we go. The Devil being brought out. Raging Royal Flush soon to be 25%. Could be built up maybe this overtime, but there's not a lot of time to go when it comes to N1HEX. They got to keep somebody on the board no matter what. But it seems like with only one player doing so, it's going to be Venom. And Venom was completely disarmed. And off the point for just a single second, it wasn't enough. A very early Eldritch Monument for Zero Tenacity.
It was clean and surgical for Zero Tenacity that entire time. N1HEX just never had even a second to breathe and reset. I feel like every time N1HEX just walked out of the spawn room, someone on Zero Tenacity just shut him right down and just kept the stagger train going and going and going. And N1HEX, something needs to happen with this combination that they have. JT3 is close to the Heaven's Retribution. Jam on Burr and Skirt do have their ultimate, so they could combo it together and maybe force Zero Tenacity to make a defensive move. But with Marvel at the ready with the Heartbreaker and Wendy with the God of Mischief likely to copy Bizer's Raging Royal Flush, that is another deadly combo that Zero Tenacity have. If Zero Tenacity make the first move here, N1HEX just get shut out here in round 2.
I'm looking at that Galactic Legend from Skirt. It's got to be a difference maker here, but Wendy, even without using ults, can shut down its capabilities with the Regeneration Domain. It's going to be a battle of deterrence to see whether or not Galactic Legend can maybe get a surprise drop on these players for ZT, but wait and see how it plays out here. Z 50% now for their ultimate. Chance the butterflies will be coming out soon. Early on, though, making that dive straight in. Zero Tenacity playing as a team. N1HEX is not. That's another team wipe nearly. That's 3 players gone. Everybody else missing in action. That is going to be JT taking down Jerry. It's a good start. And it's a little tough to talk about N1HEX right now without sounding negative, but Dan, I don't think we've seen a team fight yet.
Yeah, this is the punishment of not doing so well in the ban draft, right? This is the consequence. You kind of just cooked yourself before the game even begins. No one on N1HEX. Again, no room to breathe.
Okay.
And Skirt just goes down. He wanted to use the Galactic Legend, but he just never had the chance to.
And Bro's been holding on to that for a while now, but it's hard to find an opportunity. Wendy's still not sure on the timer for the Regeneration Domain, but Dance of the Butterflies finally made its appearance here. Doing a great job removing JT and the entire Vanguard lineup for N1HEX. One player directly on point. No protection
Skirt
by
tried.
themselves. Skirt, yeah, did his best. Don't know Galactic Legends.
And N1HEX again, they have their ultimates, but again, no chance to use it. T-Spooky is trying to get some sort of space down, but with Marvel going into the backline, threatening a dive, N1HEX just have so many different angles to worry about, and it's just looking really, really overwhelming.
Looking overwhelming. Marvel again taking these 1v1s. Skirt once again gone. T-Spooky runs away. Gameplay speaks for itself, Dan.
Yeah, it's looking rough for N1HEX. They don't have an opportunity. They can't even get a solid regroup down. N1HEX, do you just go for the portal play here? But no, Zero Tenacity, they have to Royal Flush. Even if you switched over to the Doctor Strange, it was just no chance to get the portal down because of the overwhelming amount of damage, the overwhelming amount of mobility as well that Z10 have at their arsenal just means that N1HEX just never have a chance to go for it. And what a shot from Jerry to just top it all off. And Zero Tenacity will fully shut out N1HEX in map number 1.
Well, that was certainly a match, Dan. Eldritch Monument, Super Soldier Factory, cinema at its finest. It's really hard to have a takeaway for this matchup, I'm not gonna lie. Z did a fantastic job. I loved what XE was able to achieve with the Psylocke here. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to have an analysis when there really wasn't a team fight. Everybody at N1HEX waited to the very last moment to use their ults.
Yeah, it got to a point where it just got desperate, in a sense, where N1HEX, they needed to look for some sort of opportunity, but again, with no opportunity showing up until the very last moment, even then, that wasn't the best opportunity as well. Zero Tenacity, all they had to do was just go about business as usual. Do what they do best, make sure they're playing as a team, covering every single area of the map. And yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, making sure you nail down the macro plays so that, you know, in the future, you can go for those kinds of plays and make sure that you have that muscle memory at the back of your mind.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty apt way of putting it here. Again, big work for XE's side. I very much enjoyed how the Vanguards for Zero Tenacity were playing things out. Marvel once again did wonders on this road. But yeah, I mean, look, leaving Gambit and Loki open, N1HEX. It's a tough one to call, yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough one for N1HEX, right? They're almost likely to be 7th in the group as well. Zero Tenacity,
yeah,
they do have a chance to go up in the standings, so this is a must-win situation for Zero Tenacity, but N1HEX, maybe if they're able to come out with a series win here, something could shake up in terms of who moves on to the playoffs, who gets knocked out in the leaderboards, but for now, it's looking like it's all Zero Tenacity here as N1HEX. They just look so disjointed and just never on the same pages. A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the best way to put it here.
We'll have to see what happens in Game 2. Hopefully we get to see a better band pick lineup from N1HEX's side. It will be their map pick, so maybe we'll get to see something more in their flavor. But we won't know for a few more minutes, and we'll see you then. We had a very dramatic game number 1 coming through from Hell's Heaven. N1HEX, unfortunately, did not have a great game, to say the very least. But hey, you know what? New game, new break, new us. Dan, we get to maybe see a positive mental outlook. Maybe this is the chance to bring things 1-1.
Hey, I mean, N1HEX also made a new adjustment to the roster, right? They subbed out a Skirt and they brought in DC Danny. So maybe that adjustment could help out here. They did choose Museum of Contemplation. This has been one of the comfort maps that N1HEX tried to go for in terms of whenever they lose out on map number 1. They usually like to go for Museum of Contemplation. And here it is no exception. But N1HEX also choosing attack side yet again means that N1HEX really need to figure something out, or else we might see another full hold on Museum of Contemplation. I feel like I keep seeing that again, and again, and again, and it gets to a point where I'm just like, I just want to see more of the museum, man.
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice. I remember when Museum dropped, everyone was saying that, you know, the end of point 2, all of point 3 would be incredibly tough to hold, but we haven't seen it! So, I mean, maybe having DC Danny here could be helpful. We did get to see Skirt bring out the Star-Lord a lot back on Hell's Heaven. Hopefully we get to see major changes come through here, but honestly speaking, like the stat you pointed out, Dan, I'm thinking it's going to be a full spawn hold again.
I mean, we got to backtrack a little bit more, right?
I'm down.
Not just from getting rolled out onto the map, it's on the ban draft. N1HEX just gave away so many things for Zero Tenacity, and Zero Tenacity just took full advantage of it. Yeah, you gave Zero Tenacity one-sided Gambit, but you had options to shut it down. You could have banned the Loki, you could have banned other options that are strong for Zero Tenacity. I would argue maybe you could even ban Rogue, because Marvel is just him on that character at this point.
You could have banned the Psylocke. Xe performed amazingly on her. And like all the power players that we've seen from Zero Tenacity so far in preseason completely skirted through the bans.
And yeah, it's going to be tough to see what N1HEX have been cooking up here in Museum of Contemplation. We'll see what kind of adjustments they make. It really comes down to the ban draft again, right? This is the Ignite ban draft system after all. This isn't like MRC. This isn't like your good old competitive matches that you play at home. This is something completely different. It's a new environment for some of these players, right? N1HEX coming in as one of the last qualified teams from the MRC just means that they have a lot of different things to adjust to. Not just to playing against better competition, but also a whole different ban system that most of these players are not used to just yet.
That's right, we're heading into game number 2, my friends, to the N1HEX versus Z10. Zero Tenacity once again attacking side. N1HEX has not spelled well for a lot of starting side attacking teams for Museum of Contemplation. Maybe things will finally turn around here. About to head to the ban phase. Realistically speaking, I don't think N1HEX could do anything worse than game 1. In the nicest way possible.
Yeah, we'll
ban out the Loki, ban out the Gambit, any of that, Dan, would be a marginal improvement.
Yep, and N1HEX already don't have access to the Gambit, so we'll see if they decide to go for the one-sided Elsa once again. They will go for it, so that does allow Zero Tenacity to get the one-sided Gambit for sure, if they do decide to go for it as their first save, which is all but likely. But we have seen teams stray away from the Gambit first save and moving it towards the second. But Zero Tenacity are not going to take any chances. They will take that Gambit first and foremost.
Yeah, nothing too wild so far for the picks and bans. Elsa's banned out for Zero Tenacity. Was not a problem with them when they were able to achieve what they could on the Psylocke.
Surely Loki ban here, right?
It has to. The fact that they banned Mantis before Loki's.
I mean, they have chance to ban it again. Okay. We're seeing
like that.
That's progress. That's progress.
Like
Zero Tenacity go for the Vanguard Deadpool ban once again, but N1HEX, now they're making adjustments. Now they're adapting to what they experienced back in map number 1. They will ban out Marvel's Rogue, and that does shut down the Gambit and the Rogue team up. While Zero Tenacity, though, they will grab themselves the Ultron as their second save.
Okay, Ultron's not bad. We've seen plenty of heroics thus far. Has been very dive melee focused when it comes to this first point. Ultron has been great to mess that up. Jeff ban, sure. Loki's still available.
Still a pretty good ban on the side of N1HEX. I do agree that the Loki ban probably would have been the better call, but taking away the Jeff, taking away the viability of him being able to take advantage of the Vanguard Deadpool, or just Deadpool in general, and the Venom team up makes him so viable in a two strategist backline, where Jeff, if he doesn't have access to those team ups, would only be viable in like a triple strategist composition. But with N1HEX getting rid of that, means that Zero Tenacity might have to make a little bit of an adjustment, but that adjustment really is just play the Loki. That's it. Simple as that.
A Magneto ban coming out against N1HEX. Very interesting. So the fact that the Loki and the Elsa escaped through for N1HEX should be a good thing for them. They do have a sub swap. We'll have to see how that plays out. Realistically speaking, this is a pretty good lineup for N1HEX's side. They just have to get past that initial choke.
Yeah, that's been the main pain point here on the attacking side, right? N1HEX have to get control of that first corner. And if you're not able to, Zero Tenacity can just run you right over time and time again because of that line of sight advantage in favor of Zero Tenacity, whereas N1HEX have to navigate into it. So it's going to be up to N1HEX if they're able to navigate the terrain to their utmost advantage, because some teams have been rotating to the far left side of the map and going for that high ground advantage, and it looks like N1HEX are looking to do that exact same play.
But I'm not sure if they're expecting Zero Tenacity to rock out the triple flyers coming from their defensive side. You have the Ultron for the heals, you have Jerry and XC for the Iron Man. They're ready to rain hellfire down upon this Doctor Strange. He's put into a corner immediately. And because DC Danny's rocky, I can't believe I'm saying this, the Spider-Man could work better than the Daredevil against this lineup.
Yeah, but N1HEX, they wanted to go for the left side of the map. Look at it. Marvel is there on the Penny Parker, setting up a nest so that even if N1HEX decide to try to rotate to the left side of the map, they literally can't. They have to walk into Marvel's nest, and Marvel is the one who draws first blood here. And he repositions.
Anti-Venom, anti-Dive, anti-Spider-Man setup. That is brutal against N1 side. Now, Dan, you might know the answer to this, but I'm sure chat does. Is this unironically the first Spider-Man we've seen in Ignite this year?
I mean, we've seen Spider-Man show up a few times. Shout out to Sung Jok Woo. Shout out to Jerry, Spider-Man as well at times. But Jerry, I'll admit, Jerry wasn't looking so hot on the Spider-Man. He did have access to the Daredevil at the time, but didn't opt to go for it, which was a big question mark for me at the very least. But Zero Tenacity still getting the hold down. They're staying up high in the sky. N1HEX, they need to find hit scan opportunities to try to shut them down. Hulk is a decent option to try to tackle down one of the flyers, but N1HEX are looking to go for the flying composition as well. So we're going to see a dogfight, a 3v3 dogfight up in the sky.
This is insanity, man.
Oh, like, wait, JT3 is making it the 4-flyer comp. On that N1HEX, JT3 could just mark out all the flyers because Zero Tenacity don't have the Angela at their disposal for the time being. And XE is getting stunned for all eternity because of the exile coming in from D-Spooky. And while Marvel is controlling the grounds, everyone else on Zero Tenacity are controlling the skies.
This is what future warfare looks like, man. We have drones in the sky, we have people in suits flying around, a man on fire, and now you have the hit scan from Jumbo that could try to maybe take down the enemy flyers too. This could work. It really relies on D-Spooky to make that initiation off the exile, taking opportunities left and right. Jerry does fall, but there's also soon to be 6 ultimates ready. Starting off with pennies all right away. These spider nests could find a lot of value. But again, you're putting all these pulse cannons out. That's one. Double trades galore for both these Iron Men. But now there's a Spider-Man from Jerry? Sure, man. Why not? It's working. Never saw it coming.
I was about to say, N1HEX could commit all they want, but if Visor decides to use the Royal Flush, the fight immediately ends right then and there. And XZ is extending that stagger for a little bit as Fish does go down to the Unibeam of XZ. And now N1HEX with 45 seconds left on the clock. Zero Tenacity make their first move again.
Back into spawn we go. Little selfie to boot right on top. And we're right back. You know what? I will give them this. N1HEX, they're being spawn held now. There was a moment they started off on the attack, they weren't spawn held. They had a moment where it was very competitive. 23 seconds left though, another KO from DC Danny's side. That's actually gone. That's a pretty strong start. I'm wondering now where Jerry's gonna find spectacular spin. With Wendy removed, DC Danny's finding a lot of value off this Unibeam. He is targeting and playing around this hole, finding a ton of value. Jerry's gone, no ult to be seen. Rage of Ultron could be a viability. It seems like Marvel may very well be trapped. This is no longer a spawn hold. Wait, hold on a second,
yeah. There's signs of life on N1HEX.
Hold on.
We might see a competitive map here. Zero Tenacity aren't committing to the portal this time around just yet. So it does come down to Jerry if he's able to touch the site in order to prevent a first point. Wendy pops the Rage of Ultron to make sure Zero Tenacity have the space to walk on forward, and it's already a quick double, making a triple for Zero Tenacity, and it's a full hold in the end. It got close, but N1HEX just couldn't get a point in the end.
I cannot believe that N1HEX made more distance than I think did our previous series than Rivals did against XO. That's ridiculous. Oh, no, they didn't. Because it stopped at .01 on first point. They were close,
it got
but
close. It got really close.
A lot closer than we expected.
Yeah, that is the perfect takeaway from that first round, right? N1HEX, they just kind of played around with what stuck. They kind of just threw different comps at the wall, and finally the triple flying composition was the one that stuck around. Actually, it was technically 4 with JT3 on the Angela as well. But now Zero Tenacity on the attacking side, what kind of composition did they cook up? Do they go for full dive? Do they find a way to make sure that N1HEX have to respect the space? As N1HEX are gonna roll out with 5 players, and I've seen this movie before, and it wasn't pretty.
It was a movie from today, right?
Quite possibly, and maybe a few days ago as well.
Well, I guess we'll see if it plays out. I don't know if there's an opportunity to pause. That's above our pay grade. But we'll wait and see, I suppose, everybody. JT's rocking the thing right now. Doxlin on Human Torch. Jerry's on the Spider-Man.
They're ahead of us.
At least Zero Tenacity are doing a bit of a XXL01 cosplay with the Strange and the Magic T. Oh, what is that for?
Oh, is that a manhole? Does it go to the sewer?
I mean, there's only one way to find out. I think someone just pressed the spacebar and just jump right on it. Yeah, just jump right on it. There's only one way to find out, you know?
Yeah, I'm curious, man. I guess we can go back maybe later and see, but XE takes down Doxlin early on. Jerry having the time of his life on Spider-Man. Getting those Spidey stats up.
Alright, DC Danny rocking the Denim Ket costume as well. So at least he goes down in style at the very least, as Zero Tenacity already making it to halfway point on to the first checkpoint and the map and series win, as Fish does channel the portal, so it does give N1HEX a second chance in this fight.
Okay, I'm liking this right now. There is some more fight coming out from N1HEX's side. They're directly on the convoy. They're stopping things through. Marvel, though, swaps away from the Vanguard role into a micro Vanguard, and unfortunately, does not go well for N1HEX. Once again, convoy's back in their control. 2 minutes 30 on the clock. Maybe we get to Unibeam come through, but JT tries to play hide and seek. Does not work.
Hey, he tried to go for the Drax tech, right? If he stands very, very still, it gets to a point where he won't be seen, right? Surely. Yeah, surely. Bring Drax into the game.
He already is. You just can't see him.
Yeah, he's standing so still, but
Aaron's playing.
No. You cannot say that. No. But in the end, Zero Tenacity do get the 2-0 win over N1HEX. Although it was a bit one-sided to say at the very least. Z10 do get a clean 2-0 sweep in the end and will stay competitive to make sure that they get a decent placement in the playoff stage.
Yeah, look, Zero Tenacity is a fan favorite team. They've looked good from the very beginning of preseason. They're looking good now. Gotta say, them, Pirates, and XO are the top 3 teams that I'm looking forward to coming into the playoff side. I know Triple AD is in that mix as well. I think they're the team that now needs to step up despite being in that second place slot.
Yeah, I mean, again, Zero Tenacity, they're not done just yet. They still have to play a lot more games, a few more at the very least, maybe just 1 or 2, I believe. But either way, Zero Tenacity, they need to win every single game from here on out if they want to, at the very least, stay at that 3rd place position. And as long as they keep it locked in, they'll have a more favorable opponent in terms of playoffs.
I really don't know what to expect with playoffs anymore because, you know, we've seen a lot of really good teams. We've seen some teams have some very interesting choices when it comes to their play styles overall. But given that we're seeing these more aggressive teams take priority in winning most of these matchups, I have to think that maybe we're going to see a lot more micro variations for how advanced and how aggressive teams want to be going forward. Really, it's going to be going to the beat of the Pirates' drum.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen both ends of these, like, team composition archetypes, right? You got one end where you just go full dive, just all gas, no brakes, just go right in your face, try to eliminate them as soon as possible. But then you have the other option, right, where you go for the more anti-dive option. You run the Namor, you run the Luna and the White Fox team up so that you have as much crowd control as possible to stave off this aggression coming in. And we've seen both sides of it, and so far it really has been the more aggressive approach that has been more and more successful.
Yeah, it has worked out well. I think we're definitely the most aggressive region so far. So,
yeah.
I mean, look, even expanding the scope, right? I'm not sure if we have an interview yet, to be completely honest. So waiting on that. Expanding that scope, we have playoffs, aggro teams. We can look at maybe the first major and see where Asia would fall into that kind of system. And whether or not this aggressive playstyle is just in our bubble or if this could be a global phenomenon.
I mean, a lot of teams have been doing really, really well on the dive composition as well. Just like that dive meta right here in Season 7, especially with the ultimate charge nerfs coming in again, right? It's going to be a lot of those defensive ultimates not going to be up as often, and that does allow the dive to just get so much value. You don't even have to go for all hits every single time. You can just go for soft hits here and there, maybe bait out a key cooldown or 2, and then once you find that opportunity, you just go right on and get those eliminations, and then just keep that momentum going. And that's been what a lot of teams in other regions have been doing, right? Just go for soft dives, just poke them a little bit, like get your face, get out, rinse and repeat until you find that perfect moment to go for that finishing move. And so far, here in Asia, it's looking to be no different. It's going to be a big question mark when we go to Stage 1, how the meta's going to turn out, because we're going to be in a whole new season, a whole new era of Marvel Rivals. And if dive composition is still prevalent over in Stage 1,
seems like it will be.
It very well could be, and I don't know. It's going to be, if Asia is able to adapt and overcome like the rest of the region, that's going to be where we see a bunch of adaptations, depending on what we see in future seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to how often we see a lot of heroes being released in Marvel Rivals. Each one of them can be meta-defining, just like how Gambit was for still today. It's really hard to predict what the long-term, meta is going to be from all the rivals, and whether or not aggro and very aggressive metas is going to last for a long time. But the fact right now is that so far for Asia, it's looking pretty dang good when it comes to all these teams in the upper echelon. And we're just waiting a few more moments until we get our interview set up and ready to go, Dan. But I mean, what's been the big takeaway so far for today?
So far, we're seeing the separation of the good teams and the best teams, right? Although N1HEX and Loyalty are looking to be likely out of preseason group stage, you gotta take a look at the rest of the pack, right? Everyone else is looking so competitive. Yeah, you could argue Pirates are sitting again at a whole different level. The rest of the pack is still like really close together, but it looks like we do have our interview ready. It's going to be the coach of Zero Tenacity coming up on the phone here.
Hello.
Hello,
Zitch. How are you, man?
Doing good.
Good, man. So, first question right away is that this was a very interesting matchup overall. Tell me what it was like to talk to your players, or what your thought process was going from game 1 to game 2.
Kind of the same thought process we had with one of our previous matches, where like we get the Gambit save and they just kind of let us have all these insane pieces for Gambit, and it honestly leaves me in more confusion just to like see it happen, because I know like when we see Gambit, it forces our hand to like ban out certain heroes, because like we just don't want to play into that, and it's just so much harder to manage when they do come out. But like our thought process going into map 2, I don't know, I got scared. I saw Flex God Extraordinaire DC Danny. This guy first tries heroes all the time in my ranked games, will play like an absolute god. So me, I was sweating.
All right. I mean, this was an interesting matchup overall, but then again, looking ahead, you got playoffs on the horizon, right? You got this entire rest of the pack, right? Everyone is so close together. Do you have anything in mind of like what adjustments are you going to make in terms of how you want to prepare for playoffs at the current moment?
For adjustment wise, like honestly, the biggest like tier break that I see between like some of the best teams, whether that's like EU, Asia, NA, and kind of our weakness right now is like we just like press the H button maybe a little bit more. There's so many characters, and like we've done pretty well about subverting the draft phase. So I think honestly we just need to be more mindful about like fully what's open to us in every end of the draft.
It seems like Dan and I have been hypothesizing this a lot. We've been seeing in our games too that the more aggressive, dive-heavy teams have been the one finding the most success in Pacific so far. We look at playoffs, I'm sure we're going to see more of that too. If, given how well ZT have been playing, if the possibility comes by where we see maybe a major contention for your team, do you think you're going to have a radically different play style going to the global stage?
Honestly, I think it's too early to tell until like patch comes out. I don't like to assume that we have to make major changes rather than just like focus on the fundamentals, because no matter what, that's going to be the same thing consistently through each patch. I think the biggest changes that have done anything to our playstyle is picking up things like the support pool, which has greatly changed how we have to play across like other compositions that we may touch.
Yeah, and one more thing before you go. Do you have anything to say out into the world at the current moment? Yeah, I know this was one of the matchups of all time, but if you got anything you want to shout out, now is the time. The stage is yours, my friend.
I think I just want to shout out like the Z10 like team in general. I know that like some of these matches haven't been as hard, I guess, as like our match going into like Pirates, but the general like amount of learning that I've had with them and just how much I feel like I've improved in certain areas, it's just been like wonderful, and it's been great working with them.
That sounds incredible. Thank you so much, Zitch. It's been wonderful to interview you, and I'm sure this won't be the last time either. You have a good head on your shoulders, and I really can't wait to see what more coaching things you have up your sleeve, man.
Thank you, and it's wonderful listening to you guys.
Oh, thank you so much, dude. Well, it has been an interesting day so far for Ignite, and I gotta say, I'm excited to see what comes through. We did have a forfeit for our first match of the day with Loyalty. However, we did get some pretty good news, Dan. It seems like our substitute for Loyalty has woken up and brought through. I even saw them in chat. I know for a fact that we're going to be getting a game 4.
He's ready to go, but yeah, they're going to be up against the likes of Reject, the only partner team here in the Asia region, but now with Loyalty going up against the partner team of Reject, will Loyalty come out on top here? Will they actually finally do the funniest thing possible?
Could very well be a possibility.
Maybe.
Let's find out in just a few minutes, though. We're going to go to a small break and get things set up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.